Good evening and welcome to BJC Mitzvah Day number 209, part 4. Using the Sefer Hachinuch Mitzvah that keeps your soul on its way. Here we go. A male may not cohabit with another male. What emerges from our words is that the explanation of Onkelos, the translator, to the verse, quote, "There shall not be a Kadesh," is factually true according to everyone. For there is indeed a mitzvah prohibition against marrying a Canaanite maidservant. But we follow the Rambam and Ramban, who derive this prohibition from a different source than Onkelos does. Chinuch now turns to the dispute between the Rambam and the Ramban about how to interpret the verse, quote, "There shall not be a Kaddish." Ramban of blessed memory considers the prohibition of "there shall not be a Kaddish" as a command that we not allow a man who makes himself available for immoral relations, i.e. sodomy, in the manner of the Ishmaelites to operate in our midst, as we have said above. But according to the Rambam of blessed memory, there is no mitzvah prohibition for this matter, and he therefore wrote that the verse, "There shall not be a Kaddish," comes only to reinforce the previously existing prohibition against cohabiting with other males, as we have written. Chinuch now resumes citing Sefer Mitzvahs, where Rambam rejects another possible interpretation of "there shall not be a Kaddish." The following are the words that the Rambam wrote about this matter in his book, Sefer Mitzvahs. This is the correct position regarding the verse, "There shall not be a Kaddish," namely that the prohibition against cohabitation with other males is reiterated in it for emphasis, and not that it serves as a source of the prohibition for the passive participant in such activity. That cannot be, because by virtue of Scripture stating "you shall not cohabit with a man," we derive the prohibition both for the active participant and the passive participant, as will soon be explained. And the verse "there shall not be a Kaddish" is thus not needed to teach the prohibition for the passive participant. We are left with no choice but to conclude that it comes only to reinforce the already existing prohibition against all cohabitation with other males. The Rambam continues, noting that although there is a Tana who derives the prohibition for the passive participant from, quote, "there shall not be a Kaddish," the Halach does not follow his view. In the Gemara in Tractate Sanhedrin, it is explained that Rabbi Shmuel is the one who assigns the verse of "there shall not be a Kaddish" as a source of the prohibition for the passive participant. And that, according to his opinion, one who sodomizes a male and also lets himself be sodomized by a male with a single awareness, i.e. without realizing in between that he committed a sin, is liable to two chatas, meaning sin offerings. According to Rabbi Shmuel, since the prohibitions for the active and the passive participants are derived from different verses, they are considered separate sins. Therefore, one who performs both of these acts with a single awareness is liable to two chatas offerings. Rabbi Kiva says that it is unnecessary to derive the prohibition for the passive participant from here, for Scripture states, "You shall not," he says in Hebrew, "tishkav," right, cohabit with a man as one cohabits with a woman, which can also be read as "you shall not allow a man to cohabit with you." Thus, according to Rabbi Kiva, the prohibitions for both the active and the passive participants are derived from the same verse. Therefore, one who sodomizes a male and also lets himself be sodomized by a male with one awareness is liable to only one chatas offering. The sages in Sanhedrin said in explanation of this, the prohibitions against sodomizing another male and against allowing himself to be sodomized are two aspects of one prohibition. A person who transgresses the same chatas bearing prohibition multiple times with a single awareness without realizing in between that he committed a sin is liable to only one chatas offering. Again, that's a sin offering. Therefore, since both acts are considered two aspects of one prohibition, a person who both sodomizes another male and allows himself to be sodomized by another male with one awareness is liable to only one single chatas offering. Until here is a direct quote of the Rambam. Okay, we'll continue with this mitzvah tomorrow. We're getting closer to the end. Thanks for listening to your sponsor, Future Mitzvah. 36,100 for gold.